Hello everybody, today I'm heading on a ride with the one and only Nigel, or as I like to call him, or as he likes to be called, Nige. If you've watched my channel from the beginning, you'll know who he is. He's quite a character, probably going to annoy him like I normally do, but I'm making the most of a Monday off, so I've gone down to 3 days a week at work so I can have more work-life balance and have more time for editing, not late into the night. So yeah, me and Nige are going on a ride, his wife's coming too, and we're going to share some endurance and long distance cycling tips. I did message him last night and say, Nige, get ready for your YouTube return and think of some tips. So hopefully he's going to do proper tips and not silly ones, because I know what he's like, but I've got some tips that I'll share. I'm not an expert in any way, but I have done a few endurance rides now. I've done Paris, All Points North, and a few other Audaxes along the way, so hopefully I've got a few tips that will help people to take the plunge into endurance or Audax and long distance. Obviously I'm not an expert, so if you have any tips, please share them in the comments, because it's always great to learn and I've got a lot of learning to do. But anyway, I better stop waffling and start going, because if I'm late, Nige won't appreciate that. I'm at the start of the ride. I was a little bit late, but Nige was alright with that, weren't you, Nige?
Typical. It's about typical. And it's good to be back, apparently, you know, 'cause she's been hobnobbing with the rich and famous, and I'm not good enough for her videos anymore, apparently. So we'll see how we get on today, on today's ride.
Making this big return. I hope you've got some endurance tips.
Yeah, I've got some tips.
Great.
Top tips later on.
Looking forward to them. Right, so my first tip is about building up your mileage. I always think you can do more than what your head tells you, so don't be scared to just enter an event and go for it. Obviously you need to do a little bit of training before, make sure that you can ride all day or however long the distance is, but don't let your mind put you off from entering. Don't focus on speed at the start. I just got out on my bike and rode it as much as I could. Just build up slowly. Don't worry about your speed, that comes with time. And don't let your mind stop you. Enter an Audax. Audax is the Long Distance Cycling Association. I'll put a link to their website. They are all over the world and they're great. They're not competitive, they're really laid back, and they're a great place to start if you want to get into endurance, and a great way to end as well. You don't have to move on from the Audax. They go right up to 1,000 k's and further, so the possibilities are endless, really. Give us a tip.
Okay, then tip number one, comfort.
Yeah.
If you're going to ride a long distance, it's all about being comfortable on the bike. You'll have heard me bleat about mud guards before, but if it's raining, mud guards keep your backside dry. Backside dry, comfortable ride.
Yes.
Think about bum custard. I know it's a subject that people don't really feel a bit embarrassed talking about, but yep, it helps.
It does. Chamois butter, as other people call it.
Don't buy a new pair of shorts or something like that and go out and ride 200k plus.
Yeah. Get
kit you've used, you've bedded in, you're happy with.
Thank you, Nige, very good tip. And with the chamois cream as well, you want to put enough on, but not too much, otherwise you'll have your shorts sticking to you.
Yeah. Never break the seal.
No, don't break the seal, Nige says, when you've done that. But as well, as soon as you start to feel like a little bit of a rub, just stop and put it on. Don't keep riding, because once you get a cut or something, then there's no going back from there. So stop, prevention is key. And I just get it right where your two legs meet, in between each side, get it in there, that's where the seams are, and then on your bum where the seams are as well. That's what works for me. And it's something we should talk about, don't be embarrassed about it. If you need to get some chamois on, get it on. It's common to hallucinate on a very long ride when you've got lack of sleep, so if you start doing that, just stop and sleep. It's not safe. But I thought I was hallucinating, but I'm not here. This is actually real. This is an example of what a hallucination might look like. When I was on All Points North, I started seeing men with pickaxes on Dunfell, and I thought, right, it's time to stop. Have you ever hallucinated, Nige?
Yeah.
What?
When I first started, first few overnight rides I did, I had my light mounted on the handlebars rather than down on a dynamo. Yeah. And the shadow cast by the brake lever, it looked like a dragon was following you. And at one point in the middle of the night, I thought a dragon was following me. It might have been, but you know, I don't think Game of Thrones was up then.
It's so weird, because you know you're hallucinating, but it's not really there. But yeah, you need to stop at that point and get some sleep. Next tip is about fueling. Now, it's really important to make sure that you're eating enough to fuel you. I prefer to have a nice big bowl of porridge in the morning with peanut butter in. Peanut butter is a fat, and it actually helps to slow down the release of energy from the carbs, so that's a little tip for you. But yeah, have something really big in the morning. That works for me. I don't actually use gels or carb drinks. I don't drink coffee. I like to eat proper food. We're all different, but that's my personal choice. Snacks that I love is peanut butter pittas, bananas, and if I'm not doing like a fast one where I want to get a good time, I'm doing an Audax, I'll always stop in the middle and have something really substantial like beans on toast. You want to make sure you've got a good variety, so you don't want to be eating sweet stuff all day because you get sick of it. So things like an egg sandwich or a ham sandwich, something that's not going to upset your stomach. One of the most important things is to practice before you do it. So don't start trying something you've never eaten before. Practice eating on the bike so your stomach gets used to it. When I started, it used to upset my stomach, but now I can eat on the go. And just eating regularly, for me, every 1 to 2 hours I'll have something. For Kyle, he has something every hour. I know some people that have something every 20 minutes, so find what works for you, but make sure you're eating enough because you're burning a hell of a lot.
So, are we ready?
We're ready, Nige. What do you think about food?
Food, if you think about it, there's a lot of new people who aren't members of Audax who've entered the 200k ride in August that I'm organising.
Oh yes.
And so advice for them, if you think about it, if you break the ride into 50-kilometre segments, bite-sized segments, might sound not very far, but if you have something to eat at 50k, something to eat in the middle, something to eat at the end. Yeah. My preferred strategy is, like Amy to some degree, early on in a big ride, you know, talking now 600s, 1000, is I like to have a really big meal early in the day. It means then that I'm riding for the next couple of hours really slowly, trying to digest it, but that seems to just work for me and pay dividends later in the day and through the night. Yes. Yeah, and then I end up riding much quicker through the night, not stopping trying to find food. Exactly the same. Gels and sweet stuff, forget it till the last like 20k of a ride. Treat yourself with some Haribos then, because they play havoc with your digestive system, and the one ride finisher is bad guts. Yes, exactly. So Kyle's definitely made that mistake a lot. He'll start eating sweets and stuff and then he'll get all dizzy and feel horrible. So save the sweets and gels till the end when you need that little push, but fuel, keep fueling. Another little thing about fuel as well, so for example, when I did the 24-hour TT and my 600k, my 1000ks, the day before I just eat so much rice, white rice. It gets the glucose in your muscles and you're ready to go. And then afterwards, protein. You need to let your muscles recover, so get some protein in, get some meat in, get some protein shakes. Nice. I prefer a bottle of teriyaki and a pizza myself. Hello, sheepy. Oh, there's a variety in there. They've all been shaved, they have. Shaved for summer. I don't think they need the coats putting back on. It's probably freezing. It's June. It's like 11 degrees. And my next tip is not underestimating the mental side of the ride. So quite often our bodies still have it in us to keep going, but mentally we're putting ourselves down, or we're saying we can't do it, and that makes it really hard. But on all the long rides I've done, you go through lows, but you also go through highs. So every time there's a low, just remind yourself the good times will come back. Have something to motivate you to keep going. So for me, it can be something little like finding the next petrol station for a snack, or reminding myself what I'm going to feel like at the end when I've done it, picturing finishing, picturing my bed at the end, giving Kyla rings, getting some encouragement from him, and also just stopping, making sure to just have a few minutes, 5-10 minutes to yourself, reset, have a stretch, that's important too, and then keep going, and just remind yourself that the good times come, like freewheeling down a hill. You work to go up and then you get the relief of the sweet yippee. So yeah, have the mental strength to keep on going, and you can do it. And also have the mental strength to know that if you don't finish the ride for whatever reason, don't let that stop you. Get back up, go again. It's okay. You can't do everything sometimes, and it's okay to try again. So yeah, don't give up. When you're in a low, distractions are really good. So for me, I've never listened to music while I've been riding, apart from when I did Everesting a few years ago and All Points North. Normally I just like it to be quiet and listen to nature, but when you're in a low and you feel like, oh, I can't keep going, putting some good upbeat music on really does help. So don't underestimate the power of music. And yeah, just look around you, remember to look up, don't look down at your screen all the time.
Often when we're struggling, we're in a really beautiful place and we're forgetting what's around us. Hello ladies! Yoo-hoo! Hey there little fella. Good morning! Oh, I love the animals. Oh my goodness, I'm just waiting for Nige and Jan at the top of a climb, and what a reward at the top of a climb. Hello Billies! Oh, hey there Billies! Aren't you cute? A little bit mesmerised. You enjoying the sun? Oh. Oh, I love all the different animals. That's another motivation if you just, I always think, oh, it's a car coming. I always think, oh, what's the next animal I'm going to see? And that helps me to keep going. Next tip, always be prepared. Even if the weather forecast says it's not going to rain, take your raincoat because the weather forecast is never right. Today it said it wasn't going to rain, but here we are in the rain. So thankfully I bought my raincoat. But yeah, take your layers, take your raincoat. If you're going up high, it's going to get cold. So yeah, it's better to have layers and not to be cold and have a little bit of extra weight, because it's really important to stay warm, stay dry, so that you can keep riding. We're now in Hartington, where we're stopping for some lunch. It's cafe time, and Nige has another tip for you. I'm actually not in good books today because I didn't bring my bike lock, so Nige is going to attach mine, aren't you, to his. Oh.
It's got a little alarm in it.
Has it?
So that if somebody cuts the cable or tries to nick your bike, the alarm will go off.
Oof.
Better than just a simple cable lock.
Very good, and don't forget the combination.
Oh yeah.
Also, take your Garmin off. You never know, might be some scallywags around. You pinch your Garmin.
I always take your Garmin off.
Well, whose is this one?
I'm not done yet. And I've forgotten what it's like. I remember when I used to be able to just go for a bike ride without a camera up my left nostril.
You missed me really, haven't you, Nige?
You what?
You've missed me really.
Yeah, chunter, chunter, chunter.
Right, Pinny's looking at a very strange angle there.
Yeah, everything's looking at a very strange angle. It all just fell over a bit.
Oh dear.
There we are.
This is secure now. Right, let's go and get some food. Quite quiet in here, so I don't want to do too much filming, but I've got a jacket potato. Now I've just got an egg mayo. Loves being filmed, don't you, Nige?
I'm having me dinner.
That's something substantial that you need mid-Audax, and so is this, so. I'm going to be saying bye to Nige and Jan now, because I've got to get back home for something. So Nige is going to finish with his last tip.
So, bicycle maintenance, we've talked about ourselves and all the rest of it, but if your bike breaks down, you're buggered. So, at the end of the day, what do I take on an Audax? I take a spare brake cable, a spare gear cable, a spare tyre, because it's dead easy then to be able to change it in the middle of the night. If you get a thorn or something in your current tyre and you can't find it, put a new tyre on. It's far easier than trying to faff around in the pitch dark. At least 2 inner tubes, rubber patches, and obviously all the tools to be able to do all those jobs. Yes,
so, or Nige, you could get DI2, then you don't need the gear stuff.
Yeah, it's that law of diminishing returns though. I know I can fix everything that's on my mechanical. If my DI2 goes wrong, I'm pretty jiggered, and besides, nobody pays me to ride their bikes and DI2. The other thing to talk about though is accommodation on an Audax. You know, if you find something like this on a cold wet night, it'll make a lovely little warm bed. And on that note, I'm going.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Nige, we need to mention, Nige is running an Audax called China Run. Is that right?
And the China Teapot.
And the China Teapot. So it's a 100k or a 200k. So if you've never done an Audax, come and do a 100k. Give it a go. Me and Kyle will be there. It's on the 3rd of August. And this fella's running it.
And I might be there as well.
We will be, won't you?
Yeah. To give you all encouragement that you need.
Yes.
And all the support and help.
And do you have to have mud guards on?
Yes, compulsory mud guards.
Seriously?
Yes, definitely.
I don't have mud guards for this
I'm
bike.
not letting you start if you've not got mud guards on.
Nige, I can't put mud guards on Pinny.
I'll put mud guards on. I've got a pot rivet gun.
Oh, blooming heck.
You don't need to have mud guards on.
Oh, good.
But it's really polite if it's raining and you've got riders around you that you've got mud guards and a mud flap on, so you don't cover them in the H1T.
So basically you can come without mud guards. Nige, I will be coming without mud guards, and if it's raining, if it's raining, don't go on my back wheel. Hang on, just before I go, Nige wants to show off his jersey.
Do you like it? The Society de Adrian Hands. To get one of these, you've got to finish Paris-Brest-Paris in over 89 hours 55 minutes.
Loving it.
And what's the limit and time for doing Paris-Brest-Paris? 90 hours.
Yeah, so you have to basically finish with only 5 minutes to spare, so...
Sorry, 88 hours 55 minutes, so an hour and 5 minutes to spare.
Oh right, okay, so yeah, not too bad then. So my next tip is to keep your hands happy. So after Paris-Brest-Paris, I had really bad tingling fingers and like a bit of numbness in my little fingers for like weeks and weeks afterwards. So what I do now on long rides is just change the position of my hands on the handlebars regularly, give my fingers a little wiggle, make sure I do it every 15 minutes, and then we're all good. Didn't get any tingly fingers for all points north. So yeah, keep changing your hand position and wiggle those fingers. Heading through Ashbourne now, got the flags up. Woohoo! The sun is out. I'm nearly home now. The sun's blooming come out. We should have come out earlier, but at least we're having a happy end to the ride. My next tip is if you're entering a sportive, which is very different from an Audax. So Audax is very chilled, normally quite a few people, but it's not a race, it's just take your time. There is a time limit, but it gives you plenty of time, stopping at cafes, things like that, whereas sportives normally tend to be a bit more racy kind of feel. You don't have to race, but people kind of do, and it's normally quite a lot more people than an Audax, quite a big group. So I'd say if you're going to do a sportive, definitely get some group riding experience first. So join your local club so that you know that you're a safe rider in a group, and so you know the hand signals to look out for and what to do. I definitely got loads of confidence from joining my local club. I was very scared to do it. It took me literally, like, I signed up and it took me about 6 months to actually go. But once I did, I'm so glad that I did, because I've met so many nice people. If I'm doing a sportive like Mallorca 312, things like that, the big ones, I always am very cautious of the wheels around me, because you don't know what experience they've got, you don't know what type of rider they are and how good they are. So try and just, yeah, be safe. Don't go too close to other people's wheels is what I try and do. To be fair, when I do a sport, I normally end up riding on my own, which I like to do anyway. Or if I'm with Kyle, I know his wheel, I can trust it, so I stick on that. But yeah, stay safe, know your group, and know how to ride in a group. But for an Audax, it's still quite good to know how to ride in a group, because when it starts, it tends to be like a big group of people, so it's always handy. But yeah, if you've not ridden in a group before, it doesn't matter. Audaxes are normally quite friendly, you can stick at the back, you can learn as you go. So yeah, while I'm stood here, I might as well do my next tip as well. So if you're doing a really long distance event, make sure that you try not to be too stiff on the bike. So I always notice sometimes I'm like riding like this, so I always tell myself to relax. Every so often I go like this, like while I'm on the bike, and just obviously don't do that one if there's like loads of traffic around, but just like keep moving your neck around. I sometimes go like this as well, do a little shoulder roll backwards and forwards. And I try and do it every hour, make sure I do it every hour, especially on a really long one, especially on a multi-day one. Because you don't want to be getting too stiff. Also, if you can, at regular intervals, especially on like multi-days, every couple of hours get off the bike, have a quick stretch, have a quick move around. And a bike fit is what's really helped me as well. I didn't have a bike fit before Paris-Brest-Paris. I was like, oh, I don't need one, it's fine, I'm comfy on the bike, it's all good. Got injured. Hey, what are you beeping for? Anyway, I got injured, so it wasn't good, and then everyone was like, get a bike fit, Amy, get a bike fit, it'll make a difference. I was like, oh, I don't know. Had one, honestly, such a difference. It took at least maybe 3 or 4 weeks to get used to it. I felt a bit weird at first after I'd had it, but honestly, my bum is grateful for it, my Achilles is grateful for it, I'm grateful for it. So yeah, get yourself a bike fit, that definitely helps, especially if you're going to do a lot of endurance and long days on the bike. Because the last thing you want is an injury stopping you from finishing, because it's so gutting. So yeah, bike fit and stretch. That's my ride ding dang done. I'm going to leave you with one last tip, which is just to enjoy yourself. So don't put pressure on yourself, especially if it's your first endurance event or long ride. Do it for you, and you're out exploring, you're out having a good time, you're beating everyone on the sofa. I always think a day outside exploring is better than a day inside on the sofa. So whatever happens, whether you complete the ride or not, you've learned something new, you've explored the world a little bit, and that's something to be proud of. So yeah, got home and look what the cat dragged in. You alright?
It's been a hard day at work.
Have you got any tips, Kyle, for anybody about endurance or long distance? Kyle has done Paris-Brest-Paris. He did a 600k Audax last year without sleeping, and I was very worried about him. Don't recommend it.
That's not
he
advice
rung me
I'd
crying, didn't you?
That's not advice I'd give.
No.
Yeah, not crying through anything but tiredness.
Yeah, he rung me crying, saying, I don't know if I can do it. When you get to that level, I cried on all points north. It's normal, it happens. You go through lows in these rides, but the highs always come and they make it worth it. And getting to the end definitely makes it worth it, doesn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, and also my number one tip is, if you're thinking of doing endurance riding, don't be a bricklayer.
Why?
Because I'm always jiggered.
Yeah. But now you've got your new whip.
Love my new whip. I've been thinking about it all day. Can't wait to just polish it up again.
I know. Anyway, we've got some pots to do that I'm going to do. Going to take the dog out, and I've also got some cleaning to do, so that's what I'm going to do now, and you're going to chill, aren't you?
I'm going to relax.
Good. And also, can you get changed and have a shower, please, because you blooming
That
stink.
isn't number one on the list, but I am thinking about the food at the minute.
Also, Kyle smells worse now than he did after his 600k, and that's saying something, so I'm glad you're not here in real life. Can you go and have a shower?
Sorry.
You stink. What did you do on that building site?
It's called hard work. Graft. No.
Justin! You're going to say bye to everybody? Say bye!
Chester's got some endurance tips. He is actually an aero dog as well.
He's aero, yeah. If we had a bike, if Chester was a bike, he'd be if Chester was a bike, he'd be a TT. He would. Look at him.
He'd be my pocker.
You would. He'd be a good climber, wouldn't you? Right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope those tips have helped. Like I say, I'm not an expert, so yeah. Hopefully it helps. I didn't do anything about kit because me and Kyle are doing a big sort of adventure in September for charity. It's going to be hard, but we're basically going to be riding over multiple days. So when we do that, we'll do a little kit video of what kit we take. Kit, I love that word. Anyway, enough kit, enough video. I'm going to take the dog out. So thank you so much for watching. TT's the FM. Goodbye. Oh, and I hope you like Nige's return.
Goodbye.